Streets report of the New World of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you create a profile on blackfoxnews.com/LPay. You know what I'm saying? Join the movement. We trying to get 2 million subscribers on there, where basically it is our social media platform. LPay is LPAI. It is an acronym for Let's Post About It, and exactly what we need to do as a community if we want to get to some of these resolutions out here. We need to actually be operating from the same premise. That means we need to have an exchange truth. We need to all be on the same page, and that's what BFN is about. LPay allows us to do that. You definitely create a profile that'll be big love and support, and there's perks for that are coming soon. But we just trying to get everybody on there and start the conversations. For example, like, what are we going to do on November 4th? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we circumvent capitalism? Are we pro or anti-capitalism? Like, let's move as a unit. You know what I mean? It's just something to think about. What's your appetite? You can also go in there and promote and all of that. So definitely get yourself a profile. Now, onto this news, what we came here for. COVID-19 in the United States is actually taking the lives of officially more than 200,000 people. And University of Washington researchers are expecting that number to double by the end of 2020. 400K deceased is expected from these researchers, so that's a big deal. You know, obviously we got the most infections out of any country in the world, and also you have in the last 24 hours, almost 1,000 people have died, with 37,000 infections, with states like Minnesota, Montana, Utah, Wyoming, and Wisconsin seeing record infection rates. So they actually had the COVID-19 Memorial Project in Washington, D.C., where you know, they like planted 20,000 flags, each representing like 10 people who died from COVID-19, whatever. They've had them planted all over the National Mall. Nancy Pelosi gave a speech, you know, basically saying, like, you know, we should choose science over politics. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she was kind of being political with that as well, but nevertheless, that's what's going on. Green War and Graduation. Streets report of the New World of the Bishop Grady, let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So the Food and Drug Administration, according to the New York Times, is planning to issue even stricter guidelines on any emergency use authorization that could be placed for any coronavirus or COVID-19 vaccines. You know what I'm saying? Now this comes as Trump is out here talking about how he's trying to he's expecting a vaccine by as early as next month. So the guidelines of the FDA are actually in line with what scientists have been saying, which is basically they can't make any guarantees, or like they can't really stand behind the efficacy of any vaccines for after conducting any clinical trials in such a short period of time. So again, this goes back to what I've said in recent days or whatever. Like, look how the tables turn, and now Trump is more pro-vaccine than any of these fucking scientists. So everybody who was talking about how, oh, Dr. Trump really trying to save us from Dr. Anthony Fauci, and, you know, Trump trying to say we don't need this, that, and the third, whatever, you're fucking wrong. Green War and Graduation, man. Shit's serious, yo. Y'all better wake up. Streets report of the New World of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So this is very fucked up but interesting news nonetheless, and maybe something we should have expected. But the Washington Post has actually reported that $1 billion that was actually supposed to be allocated towards coronavirus, it was actually a coronavirus relief fund. It was intended to combat the pandemic, basically, was actually allocated towards the Pentagon, or the Pentagon actually allocated it towards jet engine parts, spy satellites, drones, body armor, and dress uniforms for troops. Like, they were supposed to combat the pandemic. They thought they was actually gonna fucking fight the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Or fight us. Like, what is the deal with all of that or whatever for the pandemic? Seriously? So they planning something different, as it would seem to me. $1 billion is a lot of money. I don't give a fuck how many billions our government wastes. Nevertheless, this comes as around the U.S. there's still N95 mask and medical supply shortages at these hospitals, so their priorities is all fucked up. Green War and Graduation, and heavy on the war. Police report of the New World of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So we still got Donald Trump out here, celebrity in chief, actually having these campaign rallies. He got people, you know, shoulder to shoulder, packed out in these crowds with no masks on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wondering why it's infections that's coming from these rallies. You know, y'all ain't gonna be satisfied till Trump himself infects you, which to me, ain't unlikely. Like, it be people in the circle that be getting infected, and he be shaking hands with these world leaders and be out here no mask off like Future, and the motherfucker face look about as red as a tomato. Y'all want to follow somebody like that? Y'all trust shaking hands and all of that? Have somebody like that, somebody breath around you? You might get that. You might get that Rona. Is all I'm saying. But anyway, he had this rally in Ohio, and he ends up telling this packed crowd, even as there is a death toll for COVID-19 in the U.S. for over 200,000 and an infection number of 7 million. He tells them that, you know, it really only affects like elderly people and with heart problems or whatever, but really virtually it affects nobody. Like, it's an amazing thing. And by the way, open your schools. Like, he literally says this. It's got to be the worst leader on the planet, because keep in mind, 6 teachers have actually been reported to have died from coronavirus disease 2019 this year. And on top of that, independent COVID-19, the COVID monitor group actually found 21,000 cases of coronavirus disease 2019 linked to K through 12 school openings, and you know what I mean, so recently or whatever, with so the numbers are crazy. And in Miami-Dade County in Florida, they actually next month, they announced just yesterday that next month they're gonna allow the students to decide whether they should come back for in-person classes or not. Greenville on graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. That's right, Streets Reporter of the New World Order. So when New World Order shit go down, you know I got to tell y'all about it. So yesterday in New York City, they actually kicked off the United Nations General Assembly for the week, and you had world leaders and most United Nations ambassadors not showing up in person, deciding to participate remotely due to COVID-19 restrictions, COVID-19, coronavirus, that Rona, like BFN World Broadcast number 17 that y'all need to check out, by the way. Nevertheless, though, and you can just find it on YouTube, blackfoxnews.com, all of that. Nevertheless, Antonio Guterres, this is the Secretary General of the UN, actually spoke, warning people of a Cold War between the United States, and China, and basically saying we can't afford to have a future where our 2 largest economies are at odds, because they, risk putting the world in a great divide, where they have their own separate trade and finance rules. They also have their own artificial intelligence and internet. So, a technological and economic divide can easily and inevitably slip into a geostrategic and military divide. So he's trying to quell beef between the U.S. and China for the sake of the world. At least that's how it looks ostensibly. And at the same time, you have Trump actually submitting his speech. This was a pre-taped 7-minute speech, shortest speech ever given by a U.S. president at the UN General Assembly or whatever. And he's basically saying, we all need to hold accountable the country that's responsible for unleashing this virus on the world, China. You know what I mean? Very explicitly calling them out. And then at the same time, you had Xi Jinping, the president of China, who gave his speech basically talking about how, urging the world to for a green economic recovery in a post-COVID era. Said that China is actually going to be carbon neutral by 2060, which is late as fuck or whatever. And within the next 2 years, they're going to peak at carbon emissions. So I don't know shit, but the way this shit going down, that might not be enough fucking time. Greenville on graduation. Streets Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So Utah Senator Mitt Romney, most of y'all know him for actually being the Republican dude that ran against Barack Obama and almost beat Barack Obama for that Barack Obama's second term. You know what I'm saying? He's also the only Republican in the Senate to actually vote for Trump's impeachment in this past winter. So he actually said that he will support a Senate floor vote for Trump's new nominee to replace Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 87-year-old woman who's the second woman to ever be on the Supreme Court, whatever, who actually died this past week. Now, he was quoted in saying that, his liberal friends have for decades gotten used to having a liberal court, and that's just not written in the stars. So that just lets you know where people are coming from. This is a very politically motivated situation. Nevertheless, him saying that gives that brings 51 Republicans in the Senate to actually supporting this rush vote and replacement for the Supreme Court justice seat, whereas that out of a 100-person Senate actually gives the Republicans the majority, or those who are pro replacing it, but they are Republicans, whatever, the majority vote on the scenario, and therefore they could go ahead and move on with the vote, no questions asked. And what that'll do is that could potentially put the Supreme Court in a situation where it's basically like 6 Republicans or 6 right-leaning justices with 3 left-leaning justices. So everything could go right for decades. You know what I'm saying? Shit real like that. Nevertheless, the hypocrisy of it all is that we're 41 days removed away from the election in November. And back when Obama was president in 2016, and Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia actually died almost 9 months before the November election then, and Senate Majority Leader then was Mitch McConnell, who refused to have a vote for then President Obama's Supreme Court nominee, saying that the American people should choose who's the next Supreme Court justice, basically saying leave it up to the next president that comes in or whatever. And then look where we are right now. He's trying to rush it 41 days before. You know what I'm saying? So, I hope somebody from MAGA hears this, because they're unscrupulous at the end of the day. Like this is low, it's dirty, but we'll see what happens. Greenwood and graduation. I know I ain't picking no fucking cotton. I know that. Greenwood graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So Louisville, Kentucky is still in a state of emergency ahead of this grand jury decision that's going to be made on the officers who shot and killed 26-year-old black woman Breonna Taylor, emergency room technician who was, laying up with her boyfriend in the middle of the night in her home, and police, before these cops actually barged in with a no-knock warrant and ended up shooting up the place. I mean, they basically busted in, and the boyfriend had a registered gun and started busting out like, who the fuck is coming in the house or whatever, and they started shooting and ended up killing Breonna Taylor. Now, that sad situation has led to a lot of protests and a lot of resistance, a lot of say her name chants, Breonna Taylor and all of that. But Louisville Police Department, they actually doing an internal investigation on the 6 officers that were involved. One of the officers' name is Sergeant John Mattingly, who actually in an email that was sent out to like 1,000 police officers, he said, I know that regardless of what happens today or Wednesday, I know we did the legal, moral, and ethical thing that night. He also went on to talk about how protesters were thugs, basically. You know that coded language or whatever. But maybe it's not coded in this one, most likely. But there's a lot of white people in these BLM protests, and I think white people see that as well. But they call them I guess they might call Antifa thugs. I don't know. It used to be a racist dog whistle, maybe not in this context, but he did call the protesters thugs, and did say that this is not about us against society. This is about good versus evil. So I guess he was trying to give a pep talk to the whole police force. They morale's probably down after they fucked up and put them on a no-knock warrant at the wrong crib. So my thing is, it's like, okay, technically, yeah, you're doing your job. Technically, you got the job and you did it. Somebody has to be held accountable. Did you do the legal thing? Yeah, because no-knock warrants weren't banned until that scenario in your town. Did you do the moral and ethical thing though? Fuck no, especially if you out here talking about it, because you know for a fact that somebody who was innocent was murdered in the middle of COVID in their own home, not doing anything. And it's a result of either you or somebody else higher up the chain in the police department fucking up. You know what I'm saying? There's a such thing as criminal negligence. If you're an engineer, you can't just make no mistakes and a fucking bridge collapses because there's a bridge that you signed off of or whatever. You're going to fucking jail. You got crazy fines following it. So even if you feel like, all right, you might have just been doing your job, your boss wasn't, or your boss's boss, somebody has to be held accountable. If you're not to do that, it shows that you're treacherous. And that's that white supremacy shit that people don't really feel like be present, but it's like, what else is it? Greenwood graduation though. Report of the New World, though the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Hey yo, shout out to everybody that's been protesting over there in Oregon, especially in Portland, whatever. But you know, y'all got to take this heads up right here, where the Nation magazine has actually reported that the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security, they've actually been intercepting phone calls of protesters out there in Portland. Now, in doing so, they've been using a process called cell phone cloning, where they actually will take the unique identifiers of a cell phone and transfer it to another device so that they can intercept all of the calls or contacts that'll like go to that phone. And so you have Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley that's calling for a full investigation into the matter. He put on Twitter like, you know, the Trump administration has been treating the protesters in Portland like enemy combatants, you know, with stuff like cell phone cloning and all of that, like, and that's unacceptable in America. And you know, I concur. Green War on graduation. This report of the New World, though the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report, man. Make sure you check out blackfoxnews.com/shop. You can check out all of the gear and the stuff we have, like it'll allow you to support the movement. But also check out blackfoxnews.com/opportunities. That's where we actually have like the positions that we have open, looking for interns and all of that. But also all of the great advertising deals that we got. So if you're a business owner, you know what I mean, you're a hustler, you a go-getter, you definitely want to check that out. See how you can get on all our content and all our social media platform outlets and all of that. So support us as we continue to support y'all. Now in Belarus, actually, longtime president Alexander Lukashenko, authoritarian dude or whatever, actually he's been the president for a while, and he won last month's election by a landslide victory. People feel like that was big, that they rigged the election. Nevertheless, there's been a lot of like anti-government uprising and protesting, calling for him to resign from his position. Well, during those protests, they had a little secret ceremony today where they basically swore him in as the new president. So, you know, people calling that shit illegitimate, of course, and you know, they still going. Green War on graduation. This report of the New World, though the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. Now, y'all remember that story I told y'all about over in the Irwin County Detention Center? This is an ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This is an ICE jail in Georgia, where nurse, black lady nurse and whistleblower Dawn Wooten had actually blew the whistle on the fact that the women there, these migrant women, were actually getting hysterectomies and other gynecological procedures done on them without their consent. I mean, the doctor who was doing it was even called the uterus collector. So it's real bizarre. This is a privately run immigration center, detention center that is. Now there's so apparently they're no longer sending women in the prison to that doctor. There's a lawyer on the investigation that actually said that Dr. Mahendra Amin, which is his name, actually saw about 60 women, well, not anymore. Now, some of those, 6 of those women who had hysterectomies performed on them were Mexican women. So now you have the Mexican Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard that actually spoke yesterday, talking about how, like, you know, they're demanding answers from U.S. authorities and saying that, you know, if they don't get any answers, they're going to take actions into their own hands, you know, punishments and maybe even more than that. So this shit is crazy. Like, I don't think I could describe the outrage that is deserving of from a story like this. I mean, this is if you MAGA motherfuckers is more worried about abortions than you are worried about something like this, then you have a fucking problem. Green War on graduation. Report of the New World, though the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in California, the governor Gavin Newsom, who typically is like trying to do the right thing, at least it seems like it on the surface, this is somebody who is getting slammed right now by immigration rights activists for continuing to transfer people that are in prison, in like jail, state prison, to ICE jails or Immigration, Customs and Enforcement detention centers. Now the reason being, the reason that the immigrant rights activists are slamming them, because you have a situation where it's like Cal Say Lee. This is a 41-year-old man who was actually in jail for 22 years for a robbery that he did as a teen. Now he was set to get out last month, right? He was released last month, but check this out. This is after 2018, 2019, him being a firefighter at the prison, fighting these wildfires that have been going on in Cali. The day of his release last month, they sent him over to a Louisiana ICE prison. Now he's going to be deported to Laos, the country where his family is from, and they fled from when he was 2 years old. How comprehensive is this immigration detention center if shit like that is happening? Greenwald and graduation. Report on the new world of the Bishop Brady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. Make sure you check out blackfilesnews.com/LPAY. That's LPAI, an acronym for Let's Post About It. Go ahead and create you a profile and allow us to actually engage in some heavy conversation that we as a people, whether you're talking about a black people, an American people, hip hop people, a global people, like we need to have some of these important conversations, and it allows you to actually upload documents just in the social media exchange, you know what I'm saying, in the messaging exchange, documents, videos and all of that. So definitely create you a profile. Let's really get down to some solution oriented conversation. Now check this out though. There's a bunch of questions being raised about why the data collection for the Census Bureau, because I know them census people probably been knocking on your door too, why that collection was actually accelerated by a month, or cut short by a month, however you want to look at it, because you have the Commerce Department's internal watchdog actually did an investigation, and they found that the schedule change didn't even come from the borough. The senior officials, including the director of the Census Bureau, did not initiate the change or did not request the acceleration, whatever. So they don't know where it came from. Also, on top of all of that, there's consensus around the borough that the acceleration, the schedule change, will negatively impact the data collection and the accuracy of the Census Bureau's, data collection. So, but keep in mind that Commerce Department, Wilbur Ross, he's the secretary of the Commerce Department, and when he was on trial last year, he had to admit that he was trying to actually, he had put the census question on there, the citizenship question, like, are you a U.S. citizen? That was designed to actually deter migrants with flaky immigration status from actually doing the borough, which was designed to essentially hurt the Democrats in these upcoming elections. So if the dude that's over the department, that's over the borough, actually is obviously a Trumper or aligns with these Trumpian ideals, then maybe it came from him? I don't know. Greenwald graduation. This report out of the world of the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report, man. We in some dark times. The 17-year hiatus from the federal government performing federal executions was actually ended this year by Donald Trump, who wanted to bring back executions. And yesterday night, actually in Terre Haute, Indiana, we actually had the 6th federal execution since Trump ended that hiatus, with them strapping condemned prisoner, white dude William LaCroix, to a gurney, and they injected him with a single dose of the drug pentobarbital. Now they said that him being strapped in, his eyelids grew heavy, he was heaving, stomach, this is what the witnesses say, his stomach was heaving uncontrollably, and then at some point his lips turned blue, and he was pronounced dead at 9 p.m. Christopher Villalva is actually the 7th person scheduled to face a federal execution, man. And honestly, people want to consider executions to be immoral, especially in a country where they don't even always have the condemnation correct. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of people that not only go to jail but get executed while being innocent. So why even take that stand on a federal level? I think Trump might be trying to show off for the motherfucking dictators across the world, whatever. Trying to show well, you guys could get down too. That's what it seemed like to me. But You know, that's devilish, ain't it? Green War and graduation. You support of the New World, though, the Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. I know I'll be giving y'all that food for thought, but I'm still a rapper, you feel me? So make sure you check out my mixtape at @still_I grind. And why I give y'all an Instagram handle and this motherfucking a mixtape, that's because the mixtape is on Instagram. It's not on your favorite mixtape platforms or whatever, on IG. You know what I'm saying? Me bombing on other people's beats or post for post. And you could, it's actually a link that can actually take you to the YouTube video where you can watch it all the way through, man. 24-minute runtime of straight heat. Album on the way though, for Still I Grind. You know, the mixtape is the prelude to the album. All the merch is available at blackfilesnews.com/shop. The link is actually in the Black Files News Instagram bio, so check that out. Now, in California, the state auditor actually put out an order that showed that the University of California, over the past 6 academic years, has admitted 64 wealthy, mostly white students into their institutions as favors to donors, family, and friends. Now, at 4 UC campuses, including UC Berkeley, it was shown that 42 applicants had actually been admitted, and them being sons and daughters of like wealthy donors and staff were actually admitted over more qualified applicants. Then at other campuses, you had actually people being given athletic scholarships despite having little to no athletic skill. Just like in Operation Varsity Blues, like how they had with the white shorty from Full House and her trying to pay her way to get her kids in, so they giving them little fake scholarships or whatever, have them on the end of the bench of a crew squad or something like that, and they don't even do that shit. So that's what's going on. I'm surprised the number is that low. The audit did say though that there are 400 other applications over the past 6 years that are in question. I'm still kind of like, that's it? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why we gotta have affirmative action, people, especially you cracker racist motherfuckers that don't, that want to do away with affirmative action and all of that or whatever. Like, this is shit that we already know has been going on. I'm even surprised that Operation Varsity Blues became a thing, because us in the community, we always knew that this was going on. Like, how could it not? Money talks, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all need to really listen. Green War and graduation.